skills, provoking opponents not recommended. Johnny plays nice, winding up with the shot. Hometown excitement primes up with the cut. Along comes a bad boy to take Johnny out. This kind of behavior will only end up. Slam, crash, scream, shout. Slam, crash, scream, shout. Yeah, they'll make you.
Music. Okay, so welcome everybody to Sports Goofs number 146. I think that's where we're at. Yes. I forgot to change the title there on the top left corner. But what's up? I'm Francisco. I'm joined by my good buddies Andrew and Charles. So, Andrew, how are you doing, my friend? How's it going?
A lot better than I thought I would, you know.
Ah,
and we'll discuss that.
yes, of course. There's things that went down yesterday. All right, and Charles, how you doing? How's it going?
I'm good. I'll do a quick shout out that peach serrano. I emptied it today. It's done. We are now trying the I don't know if it's habanero, but it's garlic and pepper. And I only did a small bit of it, but come with me on this hot sauce journey. Instead of watching Guy Fieri doing weird stuff on the Food Network, just listen to the podcast.
Okay, and yeah, this is Sports Goofs number 146, and we got things to talk about. It's the end of the hockey season, finally. So Stanley Cup Finals finished off, and well, I'm happy. Well, and well, Andrew, you know. But where do you want to go? Do you want to start with that immediately? Do we want to talk about it? We're going to get your sad feelings out of the way?
Yeah, and that's actually where my guest is going to come in.
Okie dokie. We're ready.
I'm patching him in. Hopefully he gets the
invite.
Hopefully he gets the call.
I would hope so. We got to find a more elegant way of doing this. And we tried Discord last time, but Discord sucked. You know, things was like delayed and all that stuff and everything like that. I didn't like it. And wow, I forgot to take off the NBA stuff on the top. There it is. No more basketball. We're done with that. No more. It's over.
Oh, I mean, the Jazz did finally hire somebody.
Oh,
too little, too late to determine if he's a handsome man or not.
Yeah, but we don't need to know the scores or anything like that. Nothing more is going on there. So, and well, we got a bunch of stuff planned. I actually planned for this show, guys. Got small segments. I got a theme today. It's all based around hockey for sure, because things went down. Things went down in the last 2 days. And then we might actually have to talk about baseball, because it's all we have until football season. And, of course, we can always just kind of delve back into, like, gaming and stuff like that if we ever need to talk about, or food, because Charles is destroying his bunghole with the with all the various hot sauces that he's got.
You mean testing to see the strength. There is no destroying.
Hold on, guys. We have some technical difficulties. Unfortunately, my attempt to surprise you didn't work. So what I'm going to do is end this call, and I'm going to call you again with the guest, okay?
Okay, so...
Okay, freeze for the show?
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll just put this screen on, and we'll just put up the music or something, and we'll go from there. All right, sure. Okay, that'll work. I'll mute us, all right? Then... Okay, we're back. So that was pretty quick. It was, not too shabby, not too bad. We're back.
I was able to fix it quickly. But anyway,
Good job.
ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is my friend, former alumnus of UCF, Brendan Rourke, who is also a diehard Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
Yes, I am, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, welcome back, Brendan. Andrew couldn't rope you into the torture stream for the NBA draft where I had to suffer through it, but
You only went one round too, so it's a cop out.
Only one round.
Yeah.
No, I was working it, so.
yeah. Well, that's the your team actually was there to try and improve themselves, while the Heat got our own version of Nikola Jokic. Just
The evolution. I'm sorry. Did you watch
Parasaurolophus? Yeah.
I was slightly amazed by Nikola Jovic. That's what I call him. I'm gonna call him Mila Jovovich. I'm gonna call him Lilu. Fifth Element. Ruby Rod. If he gets playing time, I'm gonna call him Ruby Rod. Patent it now. Trademark it. No one's allowed to steal it from us.
Yeah, I'm just going to be a big Jovic fan to confuse everybody now. So.
Well, you should be, because Nikola Jokic, aside from being Parasaurolophus, is overrated. I said it. I don't care. Screw your back-to-back MVPs. You know who has a back-to-back MVP is overrated? Aaron Rodgers. How many rings? How many rings does Nikola have? None. You know how many that Nikola Jovic is going to have? I don't know. Trade Kyle Lowry. That's all I can say. Continue.
Yeah. Oh, well, now that we have Brendan here, we can actually talk about some basketball stuff, especially, all the rumors and stuff like that, and the destruction of the Brooklyn Nets, because that's always fun to talk about. And but we're here to talk about hockey first. Let's do that hockey, guys. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It's over. Finally, the reign of terror is over, and I say reign as in R-A-I-N. That's what I labeled this show today. The reign of terror is over. The Colorado Avalanche, the team who I've predicted to win the Stanley Cup for the last 5 years or something, while they've been building this up, finally did it. They finally did it. Joe Sakic is another one of those hockey gods up there with Steve Yzerman. Just guys that have done it on both ends now, which is kind of scary given the way the Avalanche played and what their future is going to be. And the Lightning, it was pretty ominous what you said, Andrew, last week. I don't know if you remember this, but we were talking about Cale Makar. And you said, at this point, Victor Hedman, it's still his world until somebody unseats him. And I was like, And, well, it happened. It happened.
We'll see.
No, it happened. You are not getting it today. No. Victor Hedman is done. His career is over. Because Cale Makar won the Norris Trophy this year, the Stanley Cup, and the Conn Smythe Award. He is the best defenseman in the NHL, and he's only 23 years old. So it's over. So Victor Hedman will have his number retired, okay? He'll have his place in the Hockey Hall of Fame, don't worry. But it's no longer his league. It's over. So enjoy it. He can hang out with Tom Brady if he feels like it, in the old man club. And, that's it. So...
We're gonna make you eat those words, just letting you know.
Try and pull off what the Blackhawks did, and then we'll see, okay? Or they won every other year, or the San Francisco Giants, same thing. So we'll see.
Did one thing. The Blackhawks never went back to back, right?
No, they didn't, but the Penguins did, and you saw how that went. They haven't made out of the first round since.
But who knows what's going to happen?
Well, try and circumvent the cap.
Mr. Trujillo here said that a dynasty is winning 3 times in 5 to 6 years.
I stand by that statement.
So we are
currently the Kings win
year 3 of the 6-year cycle.
Didn't the Kings win 3 out of 7 years? Remind me.
No, they won 2 and 3. They were the only. They were kind of like the. Every other year was like the Blackhawks, and then it was like the Kings, and then the Blackhawks again.
Am I thinking the Blackhawks?
You are probably.
Okay, that's who I'm.
But at that time period where it was Chicago, then LA, then Chicago, then LA. Boston won in 2011.
It was a very strange period of time.
And then the Penguins took over for a couple seasons, and then it went DC, and then St. Louis, and then
St. Louis gets one out of nowhere.
Tampa with the Mickey Mouse in 2020, and then the real one in 2021, and then the unseating in this season with Colorado.
It's because St. Louis had Pat Maroon.
Well, it's because you guys had Corey Perry that you lost.
Yes, the Corey Perry curse.
Yeah. He's lucky he won one, or else he'd be worse than Marion Hossa.
To go to the Stanley Cup final 3 times in a row and lose all 3 times, like come away with nothing after playing the longest, and with Corey Perry being up there in age, you know, we might be seeing the loss of another goon in hockey.
Yeah. So,
And we don't mean goon in the sense of our Gottlieb's goons. Just
No,
for people.
No, a hockey goon.
so the series. So I'm gonna recap. Actually, do you want to recap the series, Andrew? Or we
Sure.
I got a question for Brendan real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you watched Shoresy? I feel like Andrew needs to watch it as a pure hockey show.
Indeed.
I have not watched Shoresy. It's on my list.
Have you seen Letterkenny at
I need
least?
to watch. Yes, I've seen most
Alright.
of Letterkenny.
Okay. All right.
I have not seen either of those shows.
I think I have not seen the last 2 seasons of Letterkenny. I saw the spelling bee season. That was the last one.
Yeah, that's like season 8.
All right.
I digress. It's a hockey show that I feel is for Andrew. I've watched it once and then a lot of YouTube clipping.
Yeah, it's very much perfect for. Why? Oh, this is Google just doing its thing. I don't know why Google just had fireworks show up all of a sudden, but they did.
So anyway, I'll break it down. This initial part will be as unbiased as possible. I'm pretty good at being unbiased. So, game 1 was a real barn burner. It was 4-3 in favor of the Avalanche. Ended up going to OT, but it ended relatively quick. I think it was only a minute or 2 into overtime. That was a bit of a heartbreaker. I cussed a little bit when that one happened because I thought we had a decent chance of getting that game, especially. I mean, I made the prediction that Tampa would win game 1 just due to the fatigue factor, the rust factor for Colorado, but obviously that didn't happen. But the fact that I think that's what made it more annoying. Not that my prediction was wrong, but because a win in that opening game would have really set a different tone for the series. You take one game from the Avalanche when they're still getting their feet under them, but it was not meant to be. So that was game 1. Game 2, 7-0 Avalanche. That was just an unmitigated disaster. Yeah, that one sucked. A lot of people thought the series was done at that point. Vasilevsky, I think that was the most goals he's ever given up in the playoffs. I know he's given up 5 last year against the Panthers in the first round, but definitely not 7. A lot of people criticize Coach John Cooper for leaving Vasilevsky in that long. I tend to agree with that. I hope he didn't keep it in just for the sake of Vasilevsky's perfect attendance, if you will. He's played every minute with the exception of empty net situations since at least 2020, if not further back. Then we transition over to Tampa. Tampa has their own blowout victory, 6-2. Was not relatively close at all. Then game 4, another
Right.
And actually
Game 3 is where we left off last week.
Correct. And the Avs pulled Darcy Kemper, their goaltender, for is it Pavel or Peter? Peter, I think it's Peter.
Yeah, it's a French name.
Well, I know his last name is Francois.
Yeah,
I just don't remember his first name.
Okay.
So they pulled Darcy Kemper for Francois. A lot of people were wondering, was Kemper done for the series? Would Francois become the guy? But obviously it didn't. Game 4, another overtime win for the Avalanche, 3-2. Brendan and I agree that, that one had a bit of controversy because the game-winning goal was had a missed too many men penalty for the Avalanche.
Too much, man.
But
that's too much, man.
Brendan, my take on that too many this missed call. Personally, I'm annoyed that it wasn't called, but part of me is also, and we were discussing this during the game or after the game, that you almost got the sense that a goal by Colorado was inevitable at some point to win the game.
Yeah, in that second overtime game, they looked absolutely exhausted, and I think they had what, like one shot on goal in overtime before the Avs scored, or two. I remember one was Hagel's from the blue line, and I was like, if that one didn't go in, then none of them are going in, because they can't beat any defenseman. They couldn't beat any defenseman, really, any Colorado defenseman, let alone Makar and Byram.
Yeah, it would have been a miracle if Tampa had won that game. And listen, I'm a big Tampa fan, but even I could admit that they were dead to rights. The fact that they made it, they had to have won that game in regulation, because you just kind of, the first minute of that overtime, you saw there was no chance that they're going to be able to pull it off. So 3-1 there. Go back to Denver. Everyone assumed the series was over. Tampa's away from home. They're down 3-1. The assumption is, good try, but that's it for you guys. But no, Tampa pulled off a 3-2 win there in Colorado to push it to 3-2. Kind of got everyone's hopes up, and for a little bit, and pretty much to the end, really, of Game 6, it seemed like Tampa had a chance, but a few bad bounces, maybe a missed call or two, and Avalanche take it 2-1 and win the series 4-2. And I've talked to a friend of mine who's a Lightning fan, and they said that Tampa was outplayed all series. I'll let Brendan. What do you think? Do you think Tampa was outplayed all series?
Other than Game 2, I think so. Other than just the 6-2 win and everybody being sharp and trying to make a statement at home, it was almost all Colorado all the time. Every time I look, Colorado was in the offensive zone, and then the final, you get a lucky bounce, but on Stamkos's goal in Game 6, where he just sits right in the slot and the puck comes right to him. All of the lucky, whatever you want to call puck luck, all of it was going Colorado's way. Mm-hmm. McKinnon's first goal off the back of his calf. Not even involved in the play. He had no goals until that point. There was another bouncing puck, I believe, in the same game as McKinnon's first goal. And it just appeared that Colorado was far and away the better team. And other than Game 2 or Game 3, the first home game for Tampa, I think Colorado outplayed Tampa every step of the way.
And I said this, she basically said the same thing. I don't know if it's just me looking through rose-colored glasses or blue-colored glasses, but I don't think it was as bad of a beatdown as everyone says it is, because at least in the games that we won, I didn't get the sense that we were being like, we didn't belong with these guys. And that's kind of why.
6, right?
Went to 6, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's teams
I
that
mean,
get swept, man. Panthers.
That's kind of my definition, if you will, of an overplay. It's like, sorry, Francisco, but Florida just did not make a dent in that series.
Oh no, the Panthers barely beat the Capitals, so they barely got through the Capitals. And but if we had an actual competent power play, it would have gone 6 or 7 against Tampa. But I'm looking at the Avalanche's production over the course of the playoffs. It
was unreal. It was unbelievable.
20 games. They only lost 4 games the entire playoffs. They scored 85 goals in 20 games.
I mean, that's unfreaking believable.
I'm not good at math, but I know that's good too.
Yeah. And they were aside from Florida, they were the other offensive juggernaut of the league. Which the thing is they actually kept to their system. They looked better. They just looked a lot better. And when they've been here before, that's the other thing. They've had this disappointment before of falling short, never making it past the second round, this and that, and then they finally bust down the door, win the Western Conference, and then they were already there. They had home ice for the first 2 games, which just the way that they played, you saw the first game and then the second game where they just destroyed you guys, blew you out of Denver. This team they were just on a mission, absolute mission, and they knew that they weren't taking anything lightly. And maybe that's probably the beauty of the way that they played, because Andrew, you said that they might have had like a letdown given the way that they got here, because the first round they played Nashville, and Nashville was out UC Saros, who was a Vezina candidate, and he was gone, he was injured, he never played. So that the tone, at least they would have had a harder time, because I would believe Saros could have stolen a game against them.
Right.
And then they head out to St. Louis. They go out to St. Louis, and all right, Kadri took out Bennington, which I don't believe was malicious, but it was the break that was sorely needed for them in that series, because that series goes a lot longer with the way Jordan Bennington was playing and the way the Blues as a team are constructed. They're not far removed from a cup themselves, and Bennington's done it before, and he was playing that way. And so that was their lucky series, really. That was their real lucky series. They would have beaten Nashville, even with Saros, because that was all Nashville had. But St. Louis, that would have been a harder series, and then they just went after Kadri. They were in their heads at that point, and the St. Louis just lost the series from there. And then
I still think Colorado would have won that series. It did go to 6, like the Tampa series. It did go to 6, so it's not like St. Louis rolled over and
no, they didn't. But that's a different series. Bennington probably steals a game himself, and that goes to 7. Or maybe St. Louis gets in Colorado's head and beats them in that series. And then you get the Oilers series, and the Oilers were also one of those teams with McDavid and those guys that really it was more of a prove it to me type of series for Edmonton and for Colorado. Both teams were just trying to make names for themselves for the first time ever on both sides. But Colorado was structurally more sound than Edmonton, and despite the fact that Edmonton has these superstar scorers, Colorado does too. They got Landeskog, their number one superstar, McKinnon. He is an absolute superstar, and Makar as a defenseman, which beats out. Because overall the team was constructed better and their goaltending was better. Colorado's, because Mike Smith is 40 years old, guys. He should not be. Is he 40? I think he's like 40.
I think he's 41.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is. He's lucky that the Oilers made it through that series. Made it to that series, but Edmonton needs more, and to help out McDavid or lose him, or they can just waste him like the Angels waste Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and just keep doing that. And then they faced you guys, and that's where you thought that, well, they had a relatively easy way, especially given the goaltenders, that they could steal, that Tampa could steal a game, and I think Colorado, maybe through some wisdom from Joe Sakic, was like, no, we're gonna keep the foot on the gas pedal, and they didn't let up. Yeah, they took a punch once they got to Tampa, but they threw a haymaker in game 2.
Yeah.
They threw a haymaker in game 2, and then they beat you guys out in the grinding portions of the series. Overtime win, despite the controversy, and then the game 6. Game 6 was a one goal game, and they pulled it out. So,
I mean, that just kind of shows you that. Brendan is right. In a lot of the games, we were just outclassed.
Well, if I can add, Andrew, I think what it was. I mean, talking about all of their series, they had the help that Tampa had the season after Tampa lost to Columbus in the first round. They had that mentality that Tampa had.
Right.
It was the same exact thing. I mean, yeah, you can talk about McKinnon, Makar, but just as Tampa had, Yanni Gord, and that year Alex Killorn chipping in and things like that. I mean, the Avs had Nichushkin. The Avs had Burakovsky. They had, Byram turning into Makar's top paired defenseman with them. They had, Rattinger ate up minutes as well. They had the supporting cast.
Yeah.
And
those guys, there's a few guys on that team that have been playing together since they were that 48-point team 6 years ago. They had a 48-point team in a full 82-game season, and now they're Stanley Cup champions. That's insane.
A lot of people kind of, I guess, underestimates the power of playing together for a while. I mean, Tampa in 2020 and 2021, and really going back to 2015 as well, you had the triplets line. It was Tyler Johnson, Kucherov, and I forget who the third is. Andre Palat. The three of them were cornerstones of those 3 Stanley Cup runs while Johnson was on the team. The 3 of them were basically inseparable, and they played together forever. And it showed their sort of chemistry. You can't fake that kind of chemistry. So Colorado obviously had that. Not to mention that, like you said, kind of that motivation of keep losing in the second round. Doesn't hurt as much as getting swept in the first round by the 8th seed when you're the President Trophy winner. But still having, a team that you expect would do a lot better, that's going to hurt. So, yeah, they definitely had that motivation.
Well, this has been... Oh, and thank you, Purple Josue R407 for joining or for following us. Who is that? 407. That's Orlando area code. So
It's got to be.
there we go. All right, so we're not talking UCF today. So I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like I've been hogging up a lot of the airtime, and that's not good of me as a host. So, Brendan, what are some of your thoughts? I guess concluding the series.
Concluding the series, I'm always pessimistic. I think next year is going to be a little bit worse for Tampa, and we're on the downslope of the bell curve here. We won our 2. We lost in the finals. I think we'll get to the second round next year. And I hate to say it, but The neighbors to the south and the east, the Florida Panthers, might be on the rise. They got the loss experience. They got the embarrassing loss
I'm
experience.
getting saucy right now.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys
I
also
would
in
not be
salary cap hell?
surprised. Oh yeah, I think all the salary sites that try to do their best with the math say we are at or near $0.
Yeah, if we pop on to Cap Friendly, we can look at that too. But yeah, you guys have been trying to play with that. You guys circumvented the cap the other season to get around all the rules, and cheated. So
Okay, Brendan, you want to comment on this one? I've been fighting with Francisco about this for years now.
It's not cheating if it's in the rule book. That's it. It's not cheating
if you're not penalized.
I'll take the unwritten rules side, like in baseball.
I'm gonna do the Chicago did it too.
You want to be the honorable franchise.
Chicago did it too, and Tampa
I'm
voted
sure
against
Chicago
it.
did it up front, and everybody knew about it. And was like, you know what? That's we didn't avoid surgery when we could have, and just left it to the last minute, or
And I will add, Francisco, that you guys actually did go over the cap when you signed Giroux.
Well, that's because Ekblad was actually hurt, so our guy actually got hurt. You know what I mean? Kucherov just kind of lazily took over the entire summer, spent some time with the Cup, and he was like, "All right, I'll get some surgery. I'll come back in like May. So you guys do what you do."
Well, for the record, he got the surgery in December.
Yeah, but he was still walking around and not doing anything about it. Right? You could schedule surgery way ahead out. He was just chilling for 2 months, and then he had his surgery. So he chose to have surgery a while ago, before the season started. And then he was like, "Okay, let's just do it now. Let's bring up the time. Let's see. Oh, I'll be recovered by Stanley Cup playoffs. Perfect. I'll be back. All right, cool." So they waited until December so it could coincide with his quote unquote comeback. There you go.
Your petty ass is the definition of don't hate the player, don't hate the game, or hate the game.
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah.
Francisco, I love you like a brother, like the brother I never had. But I am going to fight you on this till the day I die.
Well,
Kane did kill Abel.
I'll stop when the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. Okay, which
so that's. I mean, I'm slightly more optimistic than Brendan here. I think like I mentioned, I forget if Brendan was on the air when I said this, but Charles' definition of a dynasty is 3 and 6, in 6 or less, 3 championships. I think we still have a chance at getting that. Whether it'll be next year or in the 6th year, I don't know. But you are right. The further away we get from these cups, the less likely the odds. I mean,
so to expand on that, you're looking for 2 things. You want the dynasty, but also we just started this decade. So if you don't get the dynasty, but you get the title like another 3 years from now, so you get the Stanley Cup in another 3 years, you might be outside the window of a dynasty theory, but you're the best team of the decade.
Yeah, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
that's not a bad consolation prize.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, though, at the end of the day, think that this run of 6 conference finals in 8 years, 3 cup finals in a row, I have to agree with Mark Messier and a lot of people who are comparing this team to, the dynasties of the 80s. Even if we're not officially a dynasty, I think at the end of the day, people will remember this as, damn, that was a really good team.
I will compare it. If you guys don't win another one with this group, let's say, you guys are like the big 3 era of the Miami Heat. It was like 4 seasons of just like, it was an era, yes, but it only amounted to 2. Like, people will remember it, people will talk about it for sure.
Debatably, we shouldn't even have the second one. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Until the Ray Allen shot.
Well, that was still won it. It's still won. It was Kawhi screwed up, but then he made up for the next one.
Here's a question I'll ask you guys. For any sports, but this applies to hockey too, especially for Lightning. are you a dynasty if you don't have like a star power player? And I know who's on the Lightning, being y'all's friend helps me. I don't know if they're generational superstars, but in basketball, part of the dynasty is the fact that you had the big names with the big three. But then I think about the Spurs, arguably a dynasty, but to me, there's only one Hall of Famer on that team, not counting Dave Robinson's first go around that led to Tim Duncan's first title. So it gets weird like that sometimes. How do you want to define your dynasty?
Tampa has.
I'd argue Tony Parker's also a Hall of Famer.
Ooh.
But
you put Tim Duncan on another team, I think he gets that team in there. Tony Parker
Longoria
died on
that.
the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, let's ask Ava Longoria. Let's get her on the phone. Andrew.
He's the Hall of Famer for France, sure.
He's a Hall of Fame husband, that's for sure, right?
And I don't even hate Tony Parker, but I just feel like I think he was the right man for that position to be the point man, to be the point guard.
Or Manu solely for the bat incident. So
yeah.
But then also they did have Kawhi Leonard, so that's the end of that dynasty because that was the surprise win. So that's the thing about if the Lightning are able to procure, let's say, another title in 2 years. With the salary cap situation, certain people are going to go. Who's most likely to leave? Stamkos, I think, is a lifer there, but Kucherov's maybe going. Am I not mistaken?
Well, he's still got a few years on his contract.
But that could be the one I'm talking about because I'm a nerd a little bit for the salary cap and contract situations. When we deep dive that hardcore because I usually have poo-poo on players. But if you end up getting it 2 years from now, it still might be a dynasty, but it's like what I will equate to the Kawhi won his one title with the Spurs.
I think the NHL, a lot of teams, and you can look, there's plenty of examples where they keep, for the most part, at least 3 players going from one transition team to the other. So you got Boston, you got Marchand and Bergeron, right? And even Chara was there forever, and even took a rest. So you got those. Washington's had Nick Lidstrom and Ovechkin for years on years, right? And even slightly Braden Holtby when he was there, but then he finally left. And then Pittsburgh with Malkin and Letang and Crosby and those guys were together. Chicago, the same thing. The Blackhawks.
Chicago have?
The Blackhawks
had
right? Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane and Brent Seabrook and Duncan Keith and Patrick. There's just a ton of guys that they found a way to stick together. So there's been examples of teams that have found ways to, play with the cap, move some guys around and things like that to try and get under it and get some role players that they can play very cheaply to get under the cap. So there's examples of it. So the Lightning can be one of those teams that can transition to a different era. Now, the example that probably best concerns the Lightning now for you guys would probably be like the Blackhawks example right there, where the Blackhawks stayed a little too long with those guys. And they try to bring the band back together. I think SB Nation did a collapse of the Blackhawks themselves, which was very eye-opening. But yeah, the Blackhawks tried to keep the train going for a little too long. They didn't know when to let go. So that's the other issue. And the same thing with the Detroit Red Wings. And even Urinating Tree, on his latest videos, he's talked about the Penguins and being compared to the Red Wings, where, yeah, it's good. Hey, make the first round of the playoffs, maybe get to the second round once in a while, but never actually contending for something. And you don't want to be in that. That's kind of NHL purgatory in a sense.
Yeah, I think they're trying. I think the Bolts are trying to avoid that by already shipping off players like Tyler Johnson, and I think shipping off or not protecting Yanni Gourde was a mistake. But
I agree.
They're gonna have to get rid of somebody this year, and unfortunately, I think most Bolts players know who it's going to be, and it's not who they would like to see leave.
Who would that be?
And that's Andre Palat. The dude is just top tier player, two-way, any team's dream two-way wing. Can play on the first line, can play in the second line, and he is going to be owed tons of money for what Palat has done these couple of seasons for the Bolts, and the Bolts don't have that money. So maybe he takes a discount and stays. But I mean, a lot of the Bolts' future is going to be dependent on Andre Palat.
You can't convince the guy who's already won 2 rings to stay for another one to keep the band together, right? Because in hockey, they don't hand out the lucrative contracts that much. It's usually 10 years. So when I'm like the best guys are the 7 to 10 year.
Yeah, at this point, he's got his name on the cup a couple times. It's like, okay, now go out and get paid. And
yeah,
I mean, I read an article from The Athletic. They kind of followed Palat around a bit. They spoke a lot with his family out in the Czechia. And they said that he wants to stay in Tampa. It seems like everybody and their mother who's on the team wants to stay. They're not in a situation where they're unhappy with how things are going, that they willingly want to leave. It's just going to depend where you can get that money. And the problem is, we weren't anticipating this, but Nick Paul is actually a decent hockey player. We picked him up at the deadline to try and recreate the Gord
it was the Gord, Coleman, and Goodrow line that they wanted to remake.
Yeah, which that was a key line to the 2 Stanley Cups because they had offensive firepower, but at the same time they could really grind it out. And Brandon Hagel, hit or miss. I wouldn't miss him if he left, but definitely Nick Paul surprised a lot of people with how effective he was during the cup, during the playoffs. I mean, he unilaterally won Game 7 of the Maple Leaf series. He scored both the goals.
yeah, but you don't want to fall in love with what's essentially a rental. That's the other
Right.
There's
That's
so
why
many
you-
jokes I'm going to put in there, but I'm not going to because I'm above that.
thing.
As a Yankees fan,
Okay. Well,
What are you thinking, Brandon? Or I guess I still feel bad that I've taken up a ton of time.
No, you're fine.
Well, I think Brendan would like to, because we're at 43 minutes. Maybe he'd like to weigh in on this, right? We're gonna do the handsomest head coaches in the NHL.
oh, all right. I got to pause this thing because I'm going to have to use. I'm going to have to actually focus.
Okay,
Right,
so
yeah.
Brendan, let me
Yes.
explain what's going on here. For the past few episodes,
So I found out Gabe Kapler is a babe, and so he's Babe Kapler. And I brought that up to the attention of the group chat. And it created the thing of we're going to have basically a round robin of tournaments to lead to the big quarterfinal fights of who's the most handsomest coach / manager in all sports.
Yes.
All right.
Gabe Kapler makes me question
So
things.
thus far, Gabe Kapler has won out the Major League Baseball bracket. Okay, which was didn't have much competition. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Absolutely not. It was between him and who was the other babe?
Kevin Cash.
Kevin Cash, man.
Yeah. So it was those two. So he beat out him, and Charles deemed Joe Torre the ugliest manager in baseball history.
I'm not wrong.
Oh, that's a little mean.
He looks like a Dick Tracy villain. I'm sorry.
Next, we did the NFL, and that was won by Sean McVay.
That was hard.
Yeah, the
yeah.
NFL's got
Hard.
some dudes.
I mean, NFL objectively has the best looking head coaches.
I mean, Mike Vrabel was a contention.
Yeah.
We had Kyle Shanahan.
Mike Vrabel
Cliff
won his
Kingsbury.
AFC bracket, but unfortunately couldn't unseat Sean McVay, who's won the most important award this season, aside from that Super Bowl.
And
So-
screwing over Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is
Yeah.
going to get me extra points.
Yeah, that's right. It's not just based on looks; it's also based on your track record as a head coach.
And who you can get me to parties with. That's why
That
Dave
is
Roberts-
also true. Yeah, Dave Roberts, even though he's aged like oof, man, has he aged?
Milk.
Yeah. Oh boy. And then we did the NBA, and the NBA was between Eric Spoelstra versus Jason Kidd, so Dallas versus Miami again, and unfortunately Jason Kidd won out.
Jason Kidd, man, the guy's
Yeah.
been looking the same since he retired. The beard helps out, man.
Mm.
Eric's
The
supposed
Steve
to.
Nash flow, huh?
Oh, so listen, we talked about it a little bit, but
Yeah.
the fact that Steve Nash looks a little too cracked out for my liking, it scared me. We're gonna be at Flanagan's at 4 a.m. The guys are like, I'm gonna take a bump. I'm like, no, I can't do that because you're cutting that with some PCP, man. We're gonna get sued.
So now we're going. So Charles's least, I guess, recognized sport.
I don't know what anyone looks
So
like.
we're gonna get genuine reactions out of him, and
Alright.
we do. So we do like
Joe
Western.
Tortorella is the only other one because these guys have been around for like 15 years.
Yeah,
I
so
can
there's
do
a few
this.
that he does recognize, and some guys who have been on ESPN. But like, what we're gonna do the Western Conference first, including the Stanley Cup champions. So, but this is all new to Charles. So this is gonna get some genuine reaction out of him, and we'll just see what he thinks. So first up is the Anaheim Ducks head coach Dallas Eakins.
Brand new head coach.
That's
mind
true.
you.
It just happened. But he's been around the league for quite a bit. So there he is. So we're gonna move it around. Tell me when I should move on to the photo so you can.
Is
get
it
an idea.
fair to say Dallas Eakins? Because I also brought it up on the Google. Is it fair to say that he kind of looks like the love child of both David Tennant and Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who?
This is gonna be the best one because Charles has no preconceived opinions of these guys.
The man has very intense eyes.
Yeah, former Florida Panther when he was playing. So
I'm not about it.
No?
I'm not.
All right.
It's Barty Crouch Jr.
So
who doesn't.
it's basically it's yes he's handsome, no he's handsome. So we're gonna do that. All right, and Brendan, if you want to chime in anytime here, you can. Right? So
I only have I try to do real life comparisons, and like Dallas Eakins looks like he has a lot of money in the stock market. And that's the best way I can describe him.
That's fair.
okay. All right, so next is the Arizona Coyotes head coach, Andre Torini.
All right, Andre.
So let's go. So
He already sounds attractive.
There's some exotic.
Something about Italian names.
All right. Oh no.
No.
No. He looks like default create a character. Okay.
He looks like your favorite math teacher.
Yeah.
yeah.
He can teach some mean math or economics
Oh
somewhere.
yeah. Oh yeah.
All
No.
right.
We're passing
Yeah.
to Andre.
Yep.
Dallas Eakins is gonna win by default. Watch.
Oof. Okay.
Well, you have 12 other teams.
All right.
'cause
Next one. Next one's an oldie, but he's a goodie. Daryl Sutter.
No.
I think I know what there was. Let's open this up a little bit.
Walmart Keebler elf. That's what he is.
All right. Daryl's. Oh no, no. There's a picture of him like raising his arm up. Absolutely. There's some handsome old man. We gave Greg Popovich a little bit
Hey,
of love.
he might know some people. He was the head coach of the Kings during their 2 Stanley Cup runs.
He looks like the stage alternate to Mickey and Rocky in the musical. We'll pass.
That's a good one. All right. Next is Luke Richardson of the Chicago Blackhawks.
All right. Let's take a picture of Uncle
Luke
Luke over here.
Richardson.
Oh, okay. This here's a contender.
All right. Yeah.
All
Out of
right.
all I've seen,
All right. So,
I mean that nose is busted the f up, but with a haircut.
sheesh, man, he was.
He played a smidge for
yeah.
the Bolts. I do remember
You
that.
know what he kind of looks like?
He's a former player.
There's a little Josh Brolin in him.
Mm,
Little Josh Brolin. Like one of the pictures I'm looking at right now. I see a bit. All right.
All right.
Uncle
So
Luke
that's a
over here.
yay for Luke.
Yeah, he
All
survives.
right.
He
All right.
survives.
Former player. He's 53. Not too shabby for 53. Okay.
Not at all.
All
It's gonna
right.
be a beauty is in the eye of the beholder kind of contest here for us boys.
All right. Next, your Stanley Cup champion, Jared Bednar.
I don't know how
Who's
to spell
that?
his name.
Especially for someone who has gray hair.
So Jared Bednar.
Kind of. Is it sad to say that him and Luke Richardson really just have the same face? Just different nose. Yeah, we'll put him in there. All
right. So
I don't want to say what I think of Jared Bednar. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an. I didn't know he got hired by them. Here, Peter DeBoer of the Dallas Stars.
Oh boy.
Alright,
Okay, this will be fun.
Oh boy. Yeah, Peter DeBoer, coached the Panthers and the Golden Knights and
Peter DeBoer. Oof. I got. Is he the one? Let me look on.
He's one of those guys that decided to grow the beard.
No, but you can't go. Here's the thing: you can't go halfway on the baldness. You can't shave the part that's a chrome dome and let the other part go. You either go all in or not. But it's true though. Taylor Jenkins understood that. That's why he grew the beard.
He's like almost the equivalent of what everyone says about Mike Budenholzer, where he looks like he has an absurd amount of money on every game.
I feel like you can't take any half measures there, Coach. I forgot his name already. He's not handsome. No.
He's
DeBoer.
Yeah. All right.
The bald.
The boar is kind of implied in the name. Am I right?
Well, some people say he's got a boring style of hockey for his teams.
Well, that too.
But it's hey, he got the Devils to the Stanley Cup Finals. Same thing for San Jose. So
coffee is for closers, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Coffee is for closers.
All right, next is Jay Woodcroft of the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, let me bring this up here.
All right, 45 years old.
He's youngin. Right.
Never played in the league. But
oh man, what? Whew. So we don't accept drinks from Jay Woodcroft. That's all I'm going to say about that. Oh no. No.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
All right. Okay, next.
Got the extra long gum line that we're talking about.
Another guy who's often on the coaching carousel, the Los Angeles Kings, Todd McClellan.
Let's look at Todd.
Here we go.
Is that Rowan Atkinson? Meets Andy Serkis?
He in the
he's a very intimidating looking coach. I'm terrified.
Yeah, he is.
Instead of a silver fox, it's more like silver possum.
Yeah.
Silver possum.
I mean, I don't really think he's handsome, but he scares me. So he's that guy that approaches you. Can I buy you a drink? I already have a drink, and he goes and says, "Can I buy you a meal?" And you're like, "Will you buy me an appetizer?" You know, we can do that.
He looks like somebody that would have been an extra in The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah.
Or Stranger Things season 3.
Okay.
Super Russian.
Okay. Next, the Minnesota Wild's Dean Avison.
Dean Avison. I still can't get over, Rapey McRae face from 2 coaches ago. Woodcroft?
Yeah, Jay Woodcroft.
Yeah.
So, Dean Avison.
All right. Evanson, let me check on my
Oh,
screen.
man, that mullet, though.
Yeah,
I do appreciate a good mullet.
Yeah, when he was playing, yes.
He deserves 1 bonus point for that mullet.
Someone says he looks like Creed Bratton, and I can't get this image out of my head because it's on Reddit. Because I just did Google search. It says
there's a clear image of him right there. Hockey Wonders on Twitter. Dean Avison looks quite a bit like Creed from The Office.
You know what? I like Creed by default. Dean Evanson's handsome. He was part of the grassroots singing "Live for Today," which is a great 1960s song. Goddamn.
Okay. Next, John Hines of the Minnesota Wild.
All right.
Or no, the Nashville Predators. Sorry, I reread that. Sorry.
Nashville Predators.
All right, he's part of the.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Okay, so out of all 4 sports, we found like our Rick Scott, right? For each one. So you've missed that, Brendan. I'm sorry, but there's always one. But he's kind of like if Rick Scott and late John McCain just had a baby and meshed it in.
See, John Hines looks like he has punched drywall before.
I think all the coaches that we've seen in hockey has punched drywall.
Especially if someone misses a change or too many men. He seems like a real stickler for too many men.
Yeah, probably.
I have a hard thing about bald men. You know,
right.
It's a hard pass.
All right, next we're going down. We got Dave Hackstall of the Seattle Kraken.
And I'm not saying that there should be a Rooney Rule in hockey, because I know we're talking about more than Americans, but I like my sugar to be a little brown every now and then. Seattle Kraken.
Dave Hackstall.
That's really Steve Nash. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I like him without the beard.
Okay.
So if he takes the beard out, we're good. If he has the beard, he looks like the guy who's still living at Woodstock. So it's conditional, but handsome for lack of people in the pool. Evanson right now is leading it, but
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Bob Boogener of the San Jose Sharks.
Oof, I mean, with a name like that, you better be handsome looking because
He
everybody
was
else is going to
former
call you.
head coach of the Panthers and
I think I
former
remember.
player as well. A goon. He was one of the goons back in the day. He was an enforcer.
All right. So which photo is it? Because I got 2 different ones coming up here. So let me see on your YouTube screen. Is he the one with like the shaved lip?
Yeah.
You talk about somebody who's pushed concrete. He probably, or punches drywall. He probably did it while holding the monster can. He screams domestic violence. I'm not doing it.
He was an enforcer. Okay. He was
I mean, I get it. But
Okay.
no. I
All
want to
right.
feel safe, not threatened if some guy's looking at me at the bar.
I mean, his nickname is the Boogeyman, so
Yeah.
you're not you're not gonna feel safe.
No. Oh, God damn, that's cryptic.
Next is Craig Berube of the St. Louis Blues.
All right, St. Louis Blues coach. Man, hockey, man. It's a particular kind of person.
He was
find
the
these people
interim head
attractive.
coach during their Stanley Cup run. Then finally earned the head coach tag. He was the interim for the entire season, and they won.
It's the hair.
Yeah.
It's the hair for
Former
me.
player. Okay.
I'm appreciative of the fact that these men have like the most intense looks. Like they scare me. No one except for maybe Mike Vrabel put the fear of God in me, especially no one in baseball. Softest people out there, the managers. But the hockey people
Definitely
I would
rocked
maybe,
the mullet way back when.
I would probably go on a different street.
All right. So that's a no. No for Craig Berube.
Yeah, no for Greg Berube.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on here. Let's go to. Oh, here's another one of Coach Carousel. Bruce Boudreau.
Where's he coaching now?
Barbecue Bruce.
Yeah. All right.
Because you also realize I don't know how to spell these
All
names.
right. Bruce
So these are
Boudreau.
hard. I see.
All right.
Ooh, hell no.
Yeah.
I thought Rush Limbaugh died, man. What are you telling me this guy?
Oh boy. All right. So that's a no for Bruce. All right. No for Bruce Boudreau.
Is he licking barbecue sauce? All right, listen.
Yes, he's part of the Andy Reid crew. All right.
Listen, I get a little. He's cute in like an old kid way. No, sorry, Bruce. You don't get my goose.
Next is Bruce Cassidy of the Vegas Golden Knights.
How many Bruces are there? Like I think this is like number 4. It really feels like freaking Shorzy. Our names are Jim. You're Jimmer. You're Jim Bob. You're Jimmy. Our names are Jim. All right. What's this Bruce's name? Golden Knights?
Bruce Cassidy.
Butch Cassidy. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on here. Which one am I looking at?
Well, there's the image.
Is
of him
this
with the
this
Boston
this
Bruins.
Rob Lowe looking motherfucker over here?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen the Boondocks, but when they're in jail and he goes, "I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this handsome motherfucker here." Out of all that I've seen in hockey, Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm
He's,
gonna call him.
he's in Vegas. You're gonna have some fun.
No, he's making me play David Cassidy. Hey, I think I love you, but what am I so afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm not good for love that no cure for. Yeah.
And
Bruce can get the goose.
All right.
Not barbecue Bruce though.
okay, and that's it because the Winnipeg Jets still have not hired.
Well, just for shits and giggles, put up Barry Trotz.
Oh, we can do the other side if you guys want to do time since Brendan's here, so you can go from there. I don't know how much you want to dedicate to it.
Well, I just want to show you Barry.
I mean,
Trotz.
my vote's on the other side. So
All right,
Yeah.
so Barry
And that's-
Trotz.
and
is gonna
that's-
I
come-
want to show him.
that's Marty St. Louis, Short King. That's it.
I mean, Barry
Well-
Trotz looks like every judge I've presided in front of
All right.
to a degree, at least two of them.
Well, we're at the 1 hour mark now, guys. Okay, so that's
Look
the
at
Western
Marty's gonna
Conference. And well, Charles, who is it? Is it Bruce
Oh,
Cassidy?
It's Bruce Cassidy.
All right, Bruce Cassidy.
It's Bruce Cassidy.
So there you go. Congrats on the job. Congrats on being the handsomest Western Conference head coach. Guess we'll do the Eastern Conference next week. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Well,
I mean, I could do Eastern Conference after non-sponsors.
well,
if
we
you
can
guys
do
want
that too. I mean, yeah, we can. I mean, yeah,
It's not like we have a
baseball's
plethora
gonna
of things
happen.
to
I was gonna
talk
tell baseball will happen. Baseball will continue to happen. So we don't have to get. It's not too urgent just yet. Okay, so we'll do the Eastern Conference after that, and then I guess next week we can do like the Final Four, or do we want to do the Final Four today? You
No,
know?
we gotta do Final Four separated out. It's too much of digestion. It's too much pressure.
All
You know,
right.
just like I got to get my I won't call it the Tinder or the Bumble or the Grinder swiping game going on, but I got to get my fingers rested. If I go through 50 options, I'm gonna be fatigued out. But
Okay.
Delve up the lady here.
So, word from non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. I guess I'll go first, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, I got on mine. Mine is hummus. I've been on a hummus kick lately, guys.
You didn't even segue. You're like, it's hummus.
Yeah, no, I just been on a hummus kick like crazy, guys. I don't know what it is. I'm pregnant. I have no idea. I can't get rid of the baby anymore now. But oh yeah. All right, that's my Chris Rock weird joke for today, guys. All right, so crickets. There we go. But hummus. Yeah, I've been enjoying hummus. I've been enjoying kinds of flavors of hummus. Just hummus, man. Ithaca makes some good hummus. That's the last one that I tried. It's freaking good. I've just been enjoying dips lately. If you guys have seen Murders in the Building, dips are a meal, by the way. They are.
I love that show.
I wholeheartily agree, Martin Short, that dips are meals. So we're
I've
good
not
there.
watched.
Oh, you should. It's fun. It's a fun one. So yeah, no, it's good, man. It's just put on everything. Just dip it. Just dip your stuff into it, and yeah, that's it, man. Hummus, promo code pregnancy.
I thought you would have done Dip It Good, but we are two different people.
No, I'm not. Okay, that was a fast one, but I just wanted because I didn't want to ramble on too much about hummus.
I guess I'll go. And I'll make it quick. After I got back from prepping for the February bar, after I was done with that, I don't know. I kind of had this nostalgia kick. And I said, I really want to watch my favorite movie. But at the same time, I also want to go back and read its book or the book from which it was adapted. And so I hit up the local library, which are very underrated. People, libraries still exist. Free books. Go check them out. They're very cool. And I said, I am going to do this. I haven't read this since the 5th grade. And so I go ahead and check out Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October. By far my favorite movie of all time. The movie is an absolute masterpiece. It differs quite a bit in some regards to the book, but still an amazing book, still an amazing movie in its own right. And the book also incredibly good. I'm about halfway through it right now. I kind of forgot about it a little bit. It was just sitting on my nightstand, and now I just read it every night because I can't stop. You know, I suppose it's a little bit ironic considering what's going on over in Ukraine. That wasn't the reason I got it. It was just a not so happy coincidence. But yeah, if you're looking for a thriller to read, you know, you have to think about it because there's a lot of, you know, military jargon and shit. It's very accurate. But if you're interested in a book, I would definitely recommend that, and I would definitely recommend the movie. Alec Baldwin is definitely the best Jack Ryan in any adaptations.
What?
Audible gasp.
I was literally saying this the other day. It's totally Harrison.
In the film adaptations?
Oh, yeah, Harrison Ford's in one of them as Jack Ryan. I'm not losing my mind, am I?
Yeah, it's been in the most recent adaptation was John Krasinski, but that was a TV show. And
Yeah, but you said all time. Am I not crazy? Because there's Clear and Present Danger. He was in that. Work with me here. Patriot Games.
Nah, I'm gonna say all time. He best captures the character of Jack Ryan.
There's a list right here that has the top 5 Jack Ryans of all time. So number 5 on this list is Chris Pine in
Understandable.
Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit. Number 4 is Ben Affleck in The Sum of All Fears.
He's the bottom Batman, so I can get being the bottom Jack Ryan.
Number 3 is Jim from The Office.
Understandable.
Who's the TV adaptation?
Mm-hmm.
Or not TV, like Amazon direct to whatever.
On their list, number 2 is Alec Baldwin.
That's some bullshit.
And
If number 1 is Harrison Ford, I'm
one
gonna.
is
Well, there's
Harrison
only
Ford,
other one.
Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger.
That's some bullshit. I could maybe see Krasinski, but Jack Ryan is not a old geezer.
Well, we've touched a nerve. Okay, what's their promo code?
Promo code.
Jack Ryan's not an old geezer.
Okay, I like it. I'll go with that.
Okay. All right. There we go.
I'll go so Brendan can get the honors of being last. First off, I just want to say about Harrison Ford. He's not only Han Solo, Indiana Jones, but also he's also Deckard. He's also the best Jack Ryan. The man just makes characters better than everybody else.
He also saved Air Force One.
Listen,
The best
Brendan,
president.
sorry, Charles, let me just say this. I think Harrison Ford is an amazing actor. You know, I think he is Han Solo. He is Indiana Jones. If anyone else did those characters, they would not have been as good as they were. That being said, he's not Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is this young guy with, like in Hunt for Red October, his kid is 6. I do not see 1990 Harrison Ford as a guy with a 6-year-old kid who is who is a former Marine, who is a CIA analyst. Again, Harrison Ford, not a bad actor. I think he's fantastic. He is not Jack Ryan, though.
I also didn't read the books, so you're entitled to your comparisons. I'm just talking about the level of coolness. But speaking of things and nostalgia and all that stuff, boys, I really don't want children, you know, and current events make
So
me
not
really
like
good. Yeah, not like Jack Ryan. I think current events really make you not want to have kids at all. But I've often imagined if I did have children and I had sons, particularly, what they would be named. I have a very hard last name to, you know, pronounce as it is. It's Hispanic, Trujillo, you know, there you go. So you wonder, I can't name my kid like Harrison Trujillo, right? Jack Trujillo, that's kind of weird. So I try to roll off the tip of my tongue a couple of name suggestions if I did have boys. And there's a few names that I think are so proper to go with. And it would be Leonardo Trujillo, Donatello Trujillo,
Here we go.
Michelangelo Trujillo, and Rafael Trujillo. Granted, I dated a Dominican girl in the past, and that was a dictator, so I couldn't get that even though Rafael's my favorite. But I am back to thinking about life and my nostalgia and the good old days, boys. And that has something to do with those 4 names listed alongside my new friends of April O'Neil. Can't name a daughter April and a girl I didn't name April. Well, Splinter. I don't know if you name a kid Splinter. That's kind of weird, right? But Elon Musk names his kid like X4 digit 5, so maybe I get away with it. And then Casey Jones. So last show I bought Shredder's Revenge for the Nintendo Switch. You guys want your AAA $70 games through PS5 and your Xbox Series X's? Not me. You want 70-hour open world explorations of RPG skill trees to just invest hundreds of hours to? Not me. What do I want? 2D action brawlers that bring me back to a simpler time of happiness and make me reflect the innocence I lost going to 32 to 33 as I sold my soul to become a lawyer and then pretty much returned that investment by being okay at it. I want that 2D crawling, beat 'em up, teaming with your buddies, now up to 6 players if you want to. Get 7 guys to go with. We never had a chance to play as April, Splinter, and Shredder. Or not Shredder, maybe DLC, and Casey Jones. But now I can have that opportunity to. I want to divulge 2.5 hours of time to 16-bit pixelation, running smoothly on a handheld portable or on a big screen TV. I want to even be able to listen to the fine music, the 16-bit quality, with Ghostface Killer and Raekwon the Great from Wu-Tang Clan. I was like, what? We're in these levels? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Oh my god, it was so much fun. I don't want to say it's game of the year quality because 2.5 hours is something short, but the replayability is there. There's like 7 different endings. I have never been happier. No, I did not pay full price for it. You know I have ways. I did not use the full gift card either, but I had some eShop credits. And I enjoyed every single bit of it. I had a smile on my face. I can't even look at it on screen. I was going to play it during the show. I went as Raph. They have super attacks now. That's really cool. They have like new grappling maneuvers. They distinguish between the turtles and the other characters. You can taunt now. That's cool. I like that. Raph just laughs in your face. I'm like, I feel you, bro. Leonardo, who I played a little bit as, has this whole little like ninja pose, like Jedi mindset. It's just so good. Old people, sit the young people down, sit their ass down, say, you know what quarters are? Because all you kids know is debit card and Apple Pay. I used to have to put quarters in TMNT, Turtles in Time, or at the arcade game. Let me show you the modern day stuff a little bit. I hit in nostalgia. I just need my fix. We talk about these remasters. What the fuck are we remastering Last of Us for the umpteenth time? Right? I might play it. But you could just have something new. It's not a sequel. It's not a continuation. But it's what I need in my life. Boys, I can't even explain to you how much fun I had playing even the final level. I mean, I sent Francisco and Andrew in the chat, Brendan. I'm like, oh, and that's how I felt. Get you some. I'm more passionate about this than anything. I don't think I'll be this passionate if I ever propose to anybody. I don't think I'll be this passionate if I have birth to my 4 children of Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo. But I'm more excited for this. And yes, I want DLC. Yes, I want a sequel. Yes, I would love the ability to play as Shredder as I go fight somebody else. Damn it, I need this. Yes, I would like a crossover of Power Ranger characters in this just to make it like canon. Because if you remember the TV show, they had the crossover from back in the day between that. Oh, the animation's so good. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Had a crossover with Batman.
They did too. Yeah. Not Tomasi's run, but James Tinney and the Force run. It was actually pretty good. I was also on a softball team. My ex-girlfriend at that time, this like 10, 11 years ago, she was Bebop and I was rock steady. And this game makes me rock hard. So Shredder's Revenge, get you some promo code Cowabunga. You already knew, Francisco. You already knew.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay, Brendan, do you have anything you want to show off?
I am not as passionate about that, and I am sorry. But here we go. We'll do, since y'all had pretty good in detail ones, I'll do 2 shorter ones. Kind of match you all on a different wavelength. First one will combine a video game and a book. to kind of keep on the same theme here, and we'll say it's a Russian book as well. Well, not necessarily communist action, but last weekend my girlfriend got me the book I have been searching for endlessly, and that is the first book in the Metro 2033 series, in which the video game is based off of. It is by a Russian science fiction writer, Dmitry Glukhovsky, I think his last name is.
Yeah, Glukovsky.
Yes, Metro 2033. If you don't know, the video game is also based in this setting. It is post-nuclear war, nuclear winter. The Earth is unlivable except for the subway tunnels in Russia. And it's this world building where you follow this character named Artyom. And Artyom survives the tunnels in Russia. There's 3 different factions he has to avoid. And there is obviously this nuclear aftermath creature or creatures called the Dark Ones that you don't really know what they are yet. That try to kill everybody in the subway tunnels, and they've set up trade routes and really cool world building, really cool aspect about living in subway tunnels post-nuclear winter and having to travel on the surface with gas masks and stuff. Been really into it. I guess I can do promo code Ruskies.
Yeah, I got 2 in the backlog. I got 2033 and Last Light Redux.
Yes, there are 3 total. 2033 was really good. Playing through Last Light, and then Metro Exodus as well as the last one. And I don't think they're going to make any more. I think they wrapped up the series in 3. And then to back the one about food, my go-to candy has been the Nerds Clusters. That's all I have to say.
One. That's a good one.
Tangy, sweet, gummy on the inside. Perfect bite. If you look at the serving size, if you're into that, only 100 calories for a bunch of them. So you can eat them hand over fist without feeling bad about yourself. I got the berry ones, also from my girlfriend, shout out. But I think I like the original ones a little bit better. But the berry ones are good as well. You can't go wrong. Promo code Willy Wonka. That's all I got.
So should we do the Eastern Conference, I guess?
We can do Eastern. Because there's still time to talk about baseball afterwards, I think. It's up to Francisco, who disappeared because I think he heard about nerds and he needs to go eat some now.
Yeah. We do have a question. I was watching the Nimmo stream. We do have a question from somebody, if you want to approach that.
Oh,
from the
I don't
host
see
way.
it on mine.
Hold on.
So,
From host way.
Let me see. Gosh darn it, man! I'm trying to look back. Going back. Hold on. I think the YouTube one has a better job of it.
I mean, I don't see anything on YouTube, question-wise, nor do I see on Twitch.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, but could you say what it is then, Brendan, if you can see
Yes, it is. Do y'all believe that Skip is crossing the line with these NBA players?
Ooh.
Skip Bayless?
I mean, what's different between now and what he's been doing
Yeah.
the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the garner attention. That's all ESPN, and I mean, now Fox Sports is all that is. It's all entertainment.
Yeah, he's a massive,
I mean,
he along with Stephen A. The whole when that came out with Stephen A. and him, and he read that, he went on his show and he read that little letter that he wrote himself, and like he played up all the marks. There's this guy on Twitter, I don't know if you guys seen him, that does like Skip Bayless's, like he emulates him and does all of the mannerisms that he does.
Yeah,
like the way he gets up in his chair, and like it's really good. It's really fun. It's a really funny one.
I think it bothers me that out of all these people, Colin Cowherd has become the most like calm when I used to be able to stand him like 6 years ago.
He doesn't get it. I mean, he says stuff, but I guess he doesn't get into like the.
He's not desperate for ratings. That's what it feels like. Collins is like, I know my demographic. I'm not trying to get the new people. I just don't want to lose touch with my current people. And Skip just
less
Shannon
shock
hasn't
value?
done well.
Yeah, less shock value, trying to like get hot take. I mean, he does have his, but it's more just like he's just...
But with Stephen A, it's beyond senses. Like
it's
the
a
whole
character.
draft. But the draft coverage, talking about the Knicks,
yeah.
I'm like, you're outside of the lottery pick. Your biggest contention is you're going for Jalen Brunson. Like, I'm sorry that life has treated you so badly because Pete Dolan owns your team. Or James Dolan owns your team. I think it's something else. But shut up about the Knicks. I feel like from The Office, shut up about the Sun. No one wants to hear about the Sun.
I sat through that draft, and when he saw Stephen A just pouting all that stuff, I'm like, this is a professional.
Who are you going to get?
Right? Oh, that too. And he was like, he was like hoping the Knicks would pull off some sort of massive trade or something like that. They're not getting KD. or do they want Kyrie? Do they want Kyrie to go over there? I don't know.
But here's the thing too: Spike Lee, at least will be loyal to the Knicks, and he'll grind.
No. I respect Spike Lee.
Yeah, and they're not, for anybody who's listening, they're not the same political analysts, but there's a point being made. But the amount of time that Stephen A. Smith trashes the Knicks on a daily basis for his own profit, because that's really what it is. It's not, it's not, Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling or ain't writing. This is more or less, I'm just going to slander you to keep the fan base. I wouldn't even want him in the office or in the arena, stadium, straight up. I'm like, no. If I was James Dolan, I'm like going to pull a Patrick. Was it Patrick Ewing that he kicked out, or was Charles Oakley?
It's Charles Oakley. Yeah.
Yeah, I would pull the Charles Oakley. I'm like, F him.
Oh boy. Okay.
I see that. I mean, I think it's also a product of. I mean, it's a product of what ESPN has become, and a product of what you can do with sports. I mean, you can look up any stats you want, anything you want now on the internet. So now ESPN has to come up with
shock value.
I don't know, shock value and entertainment
Hot
to keep people watching.
Well, that's the reason why this show exists. Even though if you do look at the video version of the show, I'm dressed like Sonic the Hedgehog, Andrew's dressed like Nitro, and Charles is a gigantic Mexican wrestler.
I'm Juan, damn it.
Yes, I know.
Play the damn game.
I'll find it. I'll get it. Don't worry. All right. It looks fun. It looks super fun. And I wasn't expecting Brendan to be here, but if I had known that a guest was going to be here, I wanted like the cutaway to the like the guest cam to be like the pit from the Silence of the Lambs.
Oh God. I feel like if he had his own character thing, would just be Larry Bird. Because it's just like, all right, we know he covers the Pacers. That's how I associate it, and I know he likes the Thunder now. Goes from there. But, I want to talk a little bit about the Pacers for a second, because this runs into my theory that I had last week.
Yeah,
so it's not surprising.
Right?
Oh, mine as well, yeah.
So here's the thing. To very condense it to bite size, so everybody gets a swing.
We're at the 124 mark, if you want to know.
All right, so to condense it, we were talking about the Heat, and I had to say, okay, who's our trade chips? And I said, I don't think Bam Adebayo's the guy. I think he's a guy, but he's not the definitive guy we can build around. And I mentioned, and I said it straight up, what's the difference between his production and then trading for, Miles Turner? And just saying, putting him in, on a cheaper contract than what Bam's getting and everything. So I just brought that was like a little bit of a highlight. I don't think you guys can trade for Bam. I don't think you want that Bam Duncan Robinson contract to get rid of expired stuff. But you having the draft, you are obviously in a weird rebuild, because now you want Brogdon gone allegedly. Miles Turner's been on the block for like 10 years now, it feels like. But what do you feel is the Pacers' best remedy to get at least into a 7, 8, or 9 play-in? Because I think it's possible. But is there anybody that you're anticipating, wanting, or hoping in all this free agency frenzy that will soon be coming Thursday at 6 p.m.? What's your insight on the Pacers? I don't know enough about the draft to go from there, so I was like, all right, because it was just a quiet moment outside the first 5 picks. I'm like, everybody's ass.
I mean, as an employee of the team, I cannot speak on trades a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because if somebody's in the news, I kind of have to stay quiet about it. I can talk primarily about who they drafted and who I feel. I mean, I think the Pacers nailed their draft picks in the way they want to go. Benedict Mathurin is that